Hello,
Hi, Z. How are you?
I'm feeling great.
Oh, you're feeling great. Okay.
There are lots of things that have happened in October since the
Okay.
beginning. First, we had our 1 week break,
Yeah.
which is pretty awesome.
Uh-huh.
On the 7th, we get to get our second dose of the vaccine.
Okay. How was that for you? Oh,
The progress was pretty much like the first,
hmm. Okay.
and we waited until we got our turn, and we went to the about the same room to get the
Hmm.
second shot.
Okay.
The second shot was a little painful, but it's okay.
Okay.
And this time, instead of a cotton ball that we have to put on our wound, they gave us a little band-aid, so we
Hmm.
don't have to do it ourselves.
Uh, okay. All right.
After that, we waited about 30 minutes to see if any of us have any negative
A reaction?
negative reactions from the taking the vaccine,
Hmm.
and we just went home. And there was
Okay.
an ambulance just standing by at the school gate in case anybody actually has some conditions for getting the
Okay.
vaccine.
Okay. So it sounds like everything went okay, and you felt pretty good.
Yes.
Okay. Good. All right. What anything else going on during that week holiday?
Uh, we just I just did
Did
some
you?
homework.
Oh, really? So you and your family, you guys didn't go anywhere
No,
during that time? Okay.
I think two people went to other places to visit their relatives, something like that, in our
Oh, okay.
class.
Okay. All right. How's school going?
On
How are your classes?
on last Saturday, on the October the 9th,
Hmm.
we went to like the art center in the area to see a performance. It is the 20th anniversary of our school, I think.
Oh,
So
okay.
we get to see several performances.
Okay.
There are musical ones, like the violin symphonies, something like that.
Hmm.
And there are dances,
Okay.
like ballet. And
Cool. And
there
that,
are
yeah, go ahead.
readings and speeches from former students of the school that went on to other better schools and become has some achievements in in that later period.
Okay. Now, are those the people that were performing that you went to watch? Are they all out of school now? I mean, like out of college and
No,
all that? Oh, okay. So they're
most of
like in high school or something.
the performances, like the dancers and the musicians, are all from our school.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's cool. All right. Okay. And what else? What else is going on with you?
And that performance lasted about 2 hours in the afternoon. We walked there on foot, which took us about 20 minutes. It was pretty fun along the way.
Okay. Okay. And
It's kind of like a field trip,
okay.
not an actual one, but it feels like it
Yeah.
was. And at the performances, it was really fun. The lights were very dim, and we get to sit with our friends and talk a lot.
Uh-huh. Okay. And, and what else? Anything else besides that?
Uh, on I think this Monday, October the 11th to this first Thursday, October the 14th, we had our monthly exams. The first time
Oh,
in the
okay.
ninth grade.
Okay. And how do you think you did?
Um, It was basically one exam a day. It was all done at the end of class, which is about 3:50 to 5:30. And
Okay.
the first day was Chinese, the second was English, the third was math, and the final day was physics and chemistry.
Okay. And did you get your grades back on any of those yet?
Today we got our Chinese and English and the math grades.
Yeah. And
I don't know about physics or chemistry.
how did you do on the other ones that you got back?
Uh, Chinese full score is 150. I got 122, which is not bad.
Okay.
Uh, English full score is 140. I got 134, the best in
Okay.
my class.
Good job. All right.
And the math full score is 150. I got 142.
Okay. Okay. Not bad at
And
all.
the physics full score is 70, and the chemistry's full score is 50. So now
Okay.
that is 100 score now, 100 points
Hmm.
now.
Okay. Well, sounds like you're doing well. Um, so school's going good, and you're back from holiday. Anything coming up for you in the near future, like in the next few weeks?
Uh,
Or
the midterm exam,
okay, so
it's on November the 2nd or about that time period.
oh, okay, so just in a couple more weeks, you're having your midterms. Well, this should kind of give you an idea of how you'll probably do just by taking the exam you did this week. And I know you studied, so blah blah blah. Um, all right. Anything else? World news. What's going on?
Well, I believe there has been explosion in Afghanistan again,
Another.
a
Uh-huh.
suicide bombing carried out by ISIS-K.
Yeah, it happened a little while
And
ago. What else?
let me think. Uh,
What what's happening in China regarding the first female to work on the new space station?
oh
Have you
yeah,
heard?
I think
Yeah, that's a,
like 3 people are going to be launched into space in a few days.
yeah. And one of them, yeah, out of the three,
Oh, actually tomorrow.
is it tomorrow?
It's
Yeah, yeah,
it's
the first female.
and in the I think basically in a few hours.
Hmm. Okay.
And
And
one of them is female and the other two are males.
yeah, this is the first time you guys had a female astronaut.
I believe so.
It is. So that's good. It's making making some history. Okay. Uh, anything else? How's the overall the coronavirus going over there?
It's
Still
doing
in
pretty,
control?
yes,
Yeah.
still in control, pretty much.
Okay. Okay. We have today, we're starting with our younger generation. We have the 5 to 11-year-olds getting vaccinated in Ecuador starting today.
5 to 11 year olds.
Yeah.
Our
Okay.
vaccine said we can't be under 12 years old.
Yeah. But here we're doing them younger. So it's only a matter of time. I mean, I'm sure you guys will get there eventually. They just want all the school age children to be vaccinated as well. And I don't know if that's happening in the U.S. I know they were discussing that, and I think they're planning on doing that sometime before the end of the year. I don't know if it's before Thanksgiving or the Christmas holidays, but I think, and it could be by per state as well. I don't know if it's the whole country, but yeah, I read today that all of our young ones are going to start being vaccinated as of today. So And we're doing we're doing great as normal, and everything's opened up, even for the upcoming holidays, like with Christmas and Thanksgiving. They're gonna reinstate all the parades and all the things that we've canceled for the past year, 2 years. Um, so yeah, that's what I know here in Ecuador. And I think the U.S. cases are dropping in the U.S., but not the highest. The most highly infected right now are children. So I mean, they're the ones that, but they're not serious. I mean, it's like, from what I understand, I think there might have been a few deaths with small children, but for the most part, all the children are recovering, quite well. But they do stay home from school, and it's it is highly contagious. So I'm just not sure if they're gonna have the vaccines relatively soon for the young kids. So, but that's what I know with the coronavirus here. But I'm glad to hear it's you guys have it in control as well. Any other things? Hey, did you ever get a chance to write your essay, or no?
No, I
You didn't
got
do it.
a bunch of homework
Yeah.
and I have to review
Okay.
my subjects. So I tried to
I
do
got
it
it.
this weekend.
Yeah, if you can, like I said,
And I forgot what the second question was. First
mm,
one was, why did the author kill John Thornton? And what was
yeah.
the second question?
The second one I had was um, trace Buck's change from being a civilized dog to a complete product of the wilderness.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, yeah. So, like I said, you asked that question before about how they're kind of really way different. But that's why I wanted to give you kind of a choice of how you wanted to approach that. So, and like I said, it's if you want to do it, that's fine. I just haven't seen your writing in a while, and just want to see how that is progressing. I also wanted to, and it's not, I'm not nitpicking on you on this one at all, but I was going to respond back to you the other day when you sent your message of not being in class last week, and it was just a word. I got to go back to your message real quick. Yeah, and this is just for an FYI for your information. Okay, you said this was your message, and I totally understood what you meant, but there's a better word to use, or how we use this phrase in English. And you said, hello, due to the reason that I have school on Saturday and a test coming, can we cancel class tomorrow? Instead of reason, yes, that is you do have a test, and that's the reason you can't make class on Friday. But a better way to state that would be something like, due to the fact that I have school on Saturday, and a test coming, can we cancel class? Okay, so that's just a change, just a different word. Yeah.
Thank you.
You bet. Okay. What else? Anything else? How's your sports teams doing?
Not really good. Dallas has
No?
been doing quite fine.
Mm-hmm.
I think they
What about
won
my?
like fourth straight in a row after losing the
You said,
opening game against Tampa Bay.
okay.
The Dolphins, on the other hand, have gone in the opposite direction.
Uh-oh.
They lost 27-17 to the Indianapolis Colts, which was previously winless, and they lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 45-17.
Okay. So Tampa's doing pretty
Which
good,
is
huh?
kind of expected, and because The Dolphins are not using their normal quarterback. They use a backup one because the normal quarterback was out with an injury.
Okay. Well,
Mm, both the offense and the defense don't look very good, especially the defense.
okay.
There's allowed like like
Mm,
154 points through 5 games.
okay.
The Dolphins are currently 1-4.
That's not too good. Okay.
And the next game is played in it will be played in London on
Really?
Sunday. Yes,
What?
there's a thing called NFL London games, I think.
I had
They're
no
played
idea.
in places outside America. One of them,
Mm,
those places, is going to be London.
huh. Is that a new thing? Did that just start
No, I
this year?
think uh, at least I saw Dolphins play with the New Orleans Saints back in 2017 in London. They lost 22-0. I remember
Oh,
it clearly.
and this is an actual like an official game that it counts on the record and all that. It's not like
Yes.
some okay. No, that's interesting. Well, okay, so I guess
The question is, what is it an away game or a home game?
I guess it would be a away game. I don't know. I don't know how they're basing that, but the away game for both. Yeah, that's why I didn't know if it was just some kind of like showcase game or something. But you're saying it does count. It's like an official game that counts into on the record as it would be played in the U.S. Okay, so there just must be a demand for it then in the other countries that they want to see, American football. Huh.
I mean, Canada has its own American Football League.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think it's called the CFL.
yeah. I just never hear much about that. I know they're really big in hockey, but I just and you hear about that, but I don't really hear too much of football. But I knew they had one. So,
Speaking of Tampa Bay, today they beat the Philadelphia Eagles
uh-huh.
28-22,
Oh, that's a close game. Just by one touchdown.
sort of.
Yeah.
They led 28-7. So it wasn't that close.
Oh,
This
but yeah,
lifts
you're saying it was 28-7, so they came back and scored up to 22 points. So
yes.
that's pretty good. It's a good run.
And the Buccaneers are now 5-1.
All right. Yay,
And
Bucks.
and the do you know the best team in the league with the best record?
No, who's the best
The
team?
Arizona Cardinals,
Oh, the
which is
Cardinals.
5-0.
Okay. Who's their uh who's their quarterback?
Let me see.
It's like a
Oh,
team.
Kyler Murray.
Okay. Okay. Huh. Yeah, that's it. That's good. No, yeah, I don't really ever hear of that team much, but you will now. 5-0. All right. Okay. Any other things going on?
Um, Aside from American football, there have been things happening with soccer.
Okay. Such.
Primarily the World Cup qualification process
Oh, okay.
for all areas.
Okay.
I only
Do you
look
follow that?
I only follow the Asian ones because China is involved in it.
Uh-huh. Okay.
There are 3 rounds of qualification. The first round
Mhm.
is for the bottom feeders, so the weakest teams of them all. So, and the second round is played by 40 teams from the weakest to the strongest, and 12 teams qualify to the third round, which is happening now.
Oh, okay. Okay.
They're divided into 2 groups, each with 6 teams,
Mm-hmm.
and the first and second places from both teams qualify for the World Cup, while the third place played out, and the winner goes to I think the Intercontinental playoffs, where they play against like the similar positions from the other continents.
Okay. I never
Uh,
hear of China much in the World
yeah,
Cup.
because we suck.
Oh,
We have only appeared in one World Cup, which is the 2002,
oh,
and lost all
wow.
three group games and didn't score a single goal.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. Well, that's good. Good.
And so far, there has been 4 games played,
Mhm. Okay.
and the first game was China played 4 games. The first game was against Australia. They
Mhm.
lost
Okay.
3-0. The
Okay.
second game was versus Japan. They lost 1-0.
Oh,
The third game was against Vietnam. China won 3-2. The final game was against Saudi Arabia, and they lost 3-2.
okay.
So in all, China got 3 points from 4 games
Mhm.
and is fifth in the group.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll see what happens. Yeah, I don't follow the soccer too. We hear about it all the time here because South America, they that's their sport. They love it, and of course Ecuador. We have actually it's not a professional team, but we have a sports team here.
In
Soccer.
the
Okay.
World Cup qualifying standings, Ecuador is ranked third
Is it really?
out of 10 teams.
Oh wow!
First
Right now,
is
as of right
Brazil.
now.
Yes, first
Wow.
is Brazil with
Okay.
10 wins and 1 draw
Who's
with
second?
31 points.
Argentina.
Second is Argentina with
Yeah.
7 wins, 4 draws, and
Mhm.
25 points. Third is
Okay.
Ecuador with 5
Mm.
wins, 2 draws, and 5 losses with 17
Huh.
points.
Okay.
Fourth is
So,
Colombia with 16 points.
okay.
And positions 1, 2, 3, and 4 qualifies for the World Cup.
Wow. Okay. So that's going to be a big deal here. Thanks for the heads up. um, and that will be, especially with all the COVID restrictions relaxed and all that. Um, does it say when Ecuador is playing next or
Um,
anything
there's
about
an
that? Or
international friendly
uh-huh.
game between Ecuador and Mexico happening on October the 26th.
Yeah, I think Mexico is going to crush them.
I don't really follow the South American World Cup
Yeah,
qualifying.
yeah, I don't either. I mean, even though they have Messi and all that. Well, Messi, I think, was in Barcelona, but I think he left Spain, and I'm not sure if he's coming back to Argentina. That's where he's actually from, and he's like one of the best players in the world. So I don't know, but I mean, it's big. It's big here. So soccer is all in Latin America. In fact, we were traveling a couple of years ago when we were in Spain. No, not Spain. I'm lying. When we were in Argentina, there was the World Cup going on at the time, and Argentina was playing. I want to say they were playing Spain, and we were at a location at the Iguazu Falls. That's right on the tip of Argentina and Brazil, and we were there staying at one of the hotels, and it was just so crowded with people. And I said, "What's going on?" And my husband goes, "I think there's a World Cup match going on right now." And I said, "Oh no!" And I want to say I think Argentina lost, and we were there during that time, so it wasn't good. I mean, because the fans in South America, they're just crazy. They get really, they get into fights, and it's just loud, and everybody is involved, not just men. It's all these women and children. I mean, it's a pretty serious thing. But anyway, okay. Any other things going on?
The next game between in the World Cup qualification is going to be on November 11th, 2021, between Ecuador and Venezuela
Oh, okay.
in Quito.
In the capital. Okay.
Yes, I think it's a home game.
Okay. Well, I'm expecting. I just don't think. I mean, we're so small. It's not that we're bad. We're bad. I mean, I think for as little as we are, Ecuador, um, we for I guess for soccer we do okay. But uh, I think I'm not I'm not holding my breath on the win against Venezuela. Definitely not
Um,
against. We don't like Argentina and stuff
there are
either.
good news and bad news.
It's not.
Which one do you want to hear?
Oh, always give me the bad first.
The bad news is in the last game against Venezuela, Ecuador lost 2-1.
Yeah. Okay.
The good news is that Venezuela is the last in the group.
Mm, okay. What do you
So
mean? I mean, like in place. They're in
yes,
last place.
it's 10th place with only 7 points.
Okay. Well, then that's actually hopeful. Yeah, we have a good
And
chance.
Ecuador played that lost in Caracas, which is away game
Okay. Okay. Well, that's hope. And what day is that on?
on
November
November the 11th.
11th. Okay. Yeah, maybe.
And 5 days later, they will play Chile.
Okay. I would think. I don't know. I don't know about Chile. I just know Brazil and Argentina. They don't have a chance.
Chile is 6th place with 13 points.
Okay. Yeah, Brazil is so good. Brazil's good, and so is Argentina.
Brazil and Argentina have never lost during
Mm-hmm.
this qualification. They play like 11 games with no losses.
Yeah, they're awesome. So we'll see what happens. But hang in there, little Ecuador. I used to one of my doctors here for my when I was before I had my surgeries, I was going through a process called ah, I'm drawing a blank. It's well, it wasn't surgery, but it was some kind of uh, injections of I can't even think of it now. There wasn't cortisone, wasn't anything like that. Ah, I'm drawing a blank, Z. But anyway, he's a sports medicine doctor for the Cuenca soccer team, and so he would do a lot of these therapies for the soccer players because they would get injured all the time, hips, knees, and ankles. Obviously because of all the running and crashing into each other. And uh, and he said it was, he loved it because he would, he's traveling with the soccer team wherever they go, and constantly. I mean, it's like daily. He's trying to help his players, but he said it was a really rewarding position that he had. And he's not from here. He's not from Ecuador, and I don't think it was the States. He was from another South American country. I want to say Brazil, and then he came here to practice his medicine here. But he was the sports doctor for our Cuenca team here, and they travel quite a bit and play. But I just never thought they were that. And every once in a while, one or two of those players from Cuenca will actually represent the whole, like the Ecuador's team, like that are like playing, against these other teams for the World Cup. So some people here make it, but it's really tough. I just think because we don't have a large pool of people. So anyway, any other things? Anything else that you can think of? I know you like to chat.
Are you going to get your vaccine anytime soon?
Oh no, not if I can help it. No, I mean my husband and I we're not vaccinated. Don't plan on it. We're just waiting. like I told you, we want to go to Spain, and we were hoping to, hopefully, we were going to try to go by the end of the year, but of course, because of all the restrictions of the travel still, and not just here, it's almost like I think we're wide open, people coming in. It's just getting into Europe, and they still have a lot of restrictions. And um, I think right now, and like in Spain, that's where we would have to fly into from Ecuador, because it's 11 hours going over the ocean. But and you have to land in, I think the first country would be Spain, Madrid, in the capital thing. But I think right now they're requiring that you have the vaccination. But there are some other countries that are starting to loosen up a little bit, where not the vaccination, but just the negative test, the PCR test. So and I have no problem with that. I'll do those tests all day long. That's no problem. And so if they relax that, and I think they will at some point, especially after everybody else gets their vaccination, I think they're going to start lowering that or becoming a little bit more relaxed on those, because even though people are starting to travel again, the travel industry, from what I've been reading, is still not where it used to be 2 years ago. And a lot of people are still electing not to travel, via air. Maybe by car, yes, but I'm saying by air. And that's hurting the airline industry. And I got a story actually to share with you. This actually, maybe you haven't heard of this one, and it's not that it's so significant, but just how you see how certain things play out. I have a good reliable source friend that works for Southwest, and he told me that, I don't know if you read in the news last week, there were a lot of canceled Southwest flights. And I'm not talking like a couple hundred, we're talking a couple thousand in one day. So all these flights were being canceled. And so I asked him, I go, what's going on with Southwest? Why are you guys canceling so many flights? Are you guys going under, going out of business? What's going on? And he said, no, what's happened is a lot of these big companies, Southwest included, have given these mandates to their employees. And they said, everybody has to be vaccinated by such and such date. I want to say it's something like November 24th, which is convenient because that's for US, I think that's like near Thanksgiving. And that's when there's a huge, a lot of holiday travel. So so you have majority of the people are vaccinated that work for Southwest. I think he was telling me something like, 85% or 80%, something like that, are vaccinated, himself included, and the others are not. So the people that were not vaccinated, they're starting to call in sick, and they just say, oh, I'm sick, I can't take my flight today. And this is not just flight attendants, this also includes pilots, the pilots that can't fly. So if you don't have a pilot for an aircraft, obviously you can't fly the plane, and therefore you have to cancel. So all these pilots and flight attendants staged like this coup where they just decided we're not gonna come to work today, and we're gonna see. And the point was they wanted to show Southwest, this is what it's going to be like if you mandate people to do things. Because you're always going to have people that aren't going to follow that rule or that law or whatever you want to say. And this is what's going to happen. So they wanted to give Southwest kind of a taste of what's going to happen when you don't have people flying your aircraft, and you're going to have all these canceled flights, which means a lot of unhappy customers that will most likely stop flying Southwest and they'll go to another airline. But from what I read the other day, American Airlines and United are going to start following suit, meaning they're going to do the same thing. So all these little things, and this is all, now keep in mind, this is all just the US. I don't know about any other country's politics, but in the US, because we have a different kind of political system than anywhere else in the world, what's going to happen is I think, this is just my prediction, there's going to be a lot of lawsuits in the United States because people are being forced to do things that they don't want to do. And um, and I think there's just going to be a lot of, actual legal lawsuits that companies can't afford to be involved in and lose all this money. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the story real quick. I know I'm jumping around. So I asked my friend, I said, so why, I go, what's the big beef between the vaccinated and unvaccinated in Southwest? And he says, the vaccinated, they're telling the unvaccinated, this is what they're saying to them in Southwest. Why don't you get vaccinated? And then of course, the unvaccinated are saying, because we don't believe in it, and we don't believe there's enough research, and we don't want to do this. And the vaccinated are saying, but you're putting all of us at risk, and we're afraid you unvaccinated people are going to kill us because you're not getting vaccinated. And so my friend said to the vaccinated people, well, isn't that the whole point of you guys getting vaccinated? If you get vaccinated, you're protected from the virus. So even if we had it, if we got it, you would be protected. How could you die? And they didn't have anything to say on that. So it's like, worry about yourself. You're vaccinated, you're protected. Why would you care? Or even, if we're not vaccinated, how could we infect you? Because you're protected, you have the vaccine. So that was and they couldn't give an answer. They couldn't support that. And so that's what was going on with Southwest last week. Now I don't know, what's going on now, but I found that quite interesting. But the answer to your question about I'm getting vaccinated, no. I mean, I don't believe in it. I don't want it, and I'm trying not to do it. And but at some point, I guess if they say, I'm just afraid of the repercussions if I don't. I don't want to get a fake vaccine card. I'm not that way, and and lie about it. I want to stand my ground and say I don't believe in it. I don't want it, and I'll take my chances basically. So we'll see what happens.
Well, wouldn't the unvaccinated people infect other unvaccinated people?
Well, they could, but I mean that's like if they got it, sure, but that's all, and we all know this. I mean, I can't say we all know this because I don't know about other unvaccinated people, but to me, this is what I really believe. See, I believe that the virus is constantly mutate, and it's just like the flu right now. I mean, even years and everything ago, the flu is constantly mutating the virus. And when they have these vaccines for particular flus that they developed last year or the year before or whatever, sure, that could protect from that strain of flu then. But as it's constantly mutating, that you can't catch it all. You can't catch all of those, and so you could still get the flu. And there's people that, and I know this because of being my brother, there are people that do get the vaccine and still get COVID. And I strongly believe that if you're a healthy human being with no underlying health conditions, such as, diabetes, heart, troubles, obesity, smokers, things like that, might have lung issues. I think if you get this virus, like the flu, your body is going to be healthy and strong enough to fight it. Will you get sick? Sure. Maybe. I don't even know. Maybe you will. And everybody's different, just like you would with the flu. Most people that get the flu, even without the vaccination, recover after a few days. Do you feel miserable for a while? Sure, you do. But your body is usually strong and healthy enough to fight that off. Once again, if you are a healthy human being. I believe me, I believe that I am a very healthy person, and I don't get sick often. And when I do get sick, because I have had the flu about 5 years ago or 7 years ago, whatever it was, and I was fine, and I've never taken a vaccine for the flu. So I mean and that's just my belief. Could it be wrong? It could be, sure, but that's just how I feel. So I just and I totally support everyone's decision whether they want to be vaccinated or not. If you want to be vaccinated, okay, hey, that's great. That's what you believe in, no problem. But what I find are the people that are vaccinated, because they decided to be vaccinated. And I'm not saying, everyone's like this, but certain people that I've encountered, and believe it or not, most of them are from the US, because there's a lot of US people that live here. They just have this feeling, this belief that because they feel that way, everyone should feel that way. If I'm vaccinated, then you should be vaccinated. Well, no, I shouldn't. That's what you believe in. I don't believe in it. What makes you right and me wrong? So and I just find people that are vaccinated have this stronger opposing view than people that are not vaccinated. That's just what I've personally observed. I mean, I do believe that we should all wear masks, whether we're vaccinated or not. I think that's a really strong deterrent against the virus. And I totally believe in that. I believe in washing my hands, keeping myself clean, not being around a lot of people, which I would never be anyway, for the most part, because I don't go to a lot of parties. I don't do a lot of those types of things, and wear a mask. So, and as a result of over the past couple of years of doing that, and living the way I've been living, I've been totally fine. And I'm sure I've been around people that have had COVID here, but maybe the mask alone was, effective enough. I don't know. So anyway, but that's just how I believe. And like I said, if maybe that viewpoint isn't, in agreement with everyone, but that's just. And so what I'm hoping for is that some of these restrictions of travel, like all they require is getting the test before you board a plane, and then getting tested again when you land. And I'm fine with that. And I'm fine with, okay, if you have the virus, then you need to be in quarantine. Okay, I totally understand that, because I wouldn't want to spread that if I knowingly had COVID. But and I would do the quarantine thing and all that. But I just don't think I should be required to have a vaccine to be with everybody else, the status quo. If I believed in it, I'm sure I would do it. I just don't believe in it. And yeah.
You believe other vaccines can work for other types of diseases?
I do. And I do believe that. I just don't believe there was enough research and testing done on this, and they developed it way too quick. And I think a lot of it comes from the U.S., but a lot of it's because that's what when people have fear, they get crazy. And I think that's what happened in the US. And people were just, the people wanted this vaccine. So the FDA gave it to them and said, okay, we have this. And, maybe there is some validity to it, as far as, maybe it is working in some degree. But I've just read so many things on the opposing side that we don't know what this is going to do to people. And I really feel for the younger generation. We don't know what this is going to do to the people years from now in their system, if it's going to mutate in certain types of genes or whatever. We don't know, because why? because there hasn't been enough time to do research. And that's my only objection to this. I just don't believe it was done, because most other vaccines, like they had for smallpox and influenza and all these others, they had years of testing before they released it, but not this one. And that's what I just don't believe in. So, and I didn't want to, and once again, this is just my personal belief. I didn't want to be the guinea pig or the lab rat that they used to test or to inject. I just, and I'm older. I mean, it's not like I have, all these years to live, but, I just didn't feel comfortable with it. So that's, and I, like I said, I have nothing against anyone else, getting the vaccine. And I know, especially for kids, you guys are kind of stuck. You do live under your parents and schools and things like that, and you have these mandates or requirements that you have to do, and so be it. You have to do it. But as an adult, and also different countries have different rules. I have the choice of having that election of not getting it. So, and that's what I chose. But from what I understand, and I could be wrong here, but like the numbers, like in the U.S., I don't know about Ecuador. Even though I live here, I'm still like, I'm a U.S. citizen, and that's my country. But from what I understand, in the U.S., there's not much. What's the word I'm looking for? The percentage of people being vaccinated versus unvaccinated, I think it's just slightly over of vaccinated. Vaccinated, there's a little bit higher numbers, but not a whole lot, not much. I don't want to say it's like 90% of all the US citizens are vaccinated. I don't think it's that high. I think it's real close, something more in the lines of like, 70-30 or 60-40 or something like that. And once again, I mean, this is what I looked at maybe a month or so ago. Maybe it's higher now. I don't know, but I know. And here's I'll share something else with you. I have a few people that I have as students that work for Facebook, right? And one of their requirements, like a lot of the big companies, are that they're requiring their employees to be vaccinated by a certain time so they can come back to the office. And so my question to one of my students was, who's not vaccinated, by the way. Most of them are, but this person was not. And I said, so what happens when October 26 or January 1, because they're all supposed to go back to the office in January sometime. And I said, what happens if you're not vaccinated? And you have to show proof, that you're vaccinated. I said, what happens if you're not vaccinated when it comes time for them to open the office back up for all the employees to come back? Are they going to fire you? And he said, I don't think they can. And I go, so right there is going to be a case if they, and we're talking Facebook, billions of dollars. And this is only one company. You got Microsoft, Amazon, Netflix, Apple, whatever. If those kind of employees, they try to fire them and they start, initiating lawsuits of wrongful termination, these companies are going to lose millions of dollars on this. And so my belief is that they're not going to do that. And so what will end up happening is these people will still be able to work for these companies and work at home, like they have been doing for the past 2 years. So I just still think you're going to have, a certain amount of people that are just going to stand firm and say, no, I'm not going to be vaccinated and work from home. That's what I think. Once again, I could be wrong on that too. Anyway, there's my answer. So yeah, I'm trying not to. My sister's not vaccinated. No. Her whole family, I should say, her and her husband and kids and stuff, they're not vaccinated. My brother is. My mother is. Mm, but I have a lot of friends that still are not vaccinated, and I have friends that are. So okay. Any other questions? Did I answer your question, Z?
Yes.
Okay. I know it was a little bit lengthy, but now you know my position. And like I said, I just don't, it's fine if you are, if you're not, that's great. But to let everybody make their own decisions, So anyway. Okay. I know we were going to start this. This is the novel by George Orwell, Animal Farm. And I'm still going to give you the chance if you don't want to read this book, but I think you might like it. It's actually, I don't know if you did any kind of research on this book, or
I
have you
think
heard
it's
about it?
about Soviet Union stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of like a satire or a parody of this. It's a political fable, and it's based on Russian events of the revolution and with like when Joseph Stalin was in power. But what it's about is it's kind of told through animals, right? So when you kind of take a look at in general of this book, it's a it's kind of like a satire on equality, where all the barnyard animals, and you have all different kinds of animals, like the pig, all the barnyard animals want to live free from their human masters, their tyranny, and so that would be like a ruler, like in Russia, right? And I think the major animal that plays a role here is the boar, which is the pig, and his name is Major. And it's not very long, but and then the person or the people that they're going against, the animals, of course, obviously are the humans, and that would be like the farmer, and that is uh, Mr. Jones. And they kind of stage a revolution to achieve an idealistic state of justice and progress. Okay? So you got a power hungry pig, and that's going to be Napoleon, and he becomes a totalitarian dictator who leads the animal farm. Okay? So yeah, I think you might like it, and I don't think it's then the story isn't too long. So we can start it. We'll start it next week because we're at the top of the class. Do you have? I have this on my Kindle, which I can't share with you, and you can read off on here. But I know that one site. I might have shared one or two sites with you that had different, all those different stories. Like you had Black Beauty and Call of the Wild, and there's a lot of classic 19th, 20th century novels on there. And I don't think Animal Farm is on that one. But I don't know. Do you have access to that book or no?
Oh, I haven't bought it.
Okay. I mean, you don't have to. I'll look around to see if I can find some other sites that may have that book on there that you can download as an ebook, or get on the website, because I know you guys use a VPN, right, at your house.
Yes, when we
Yeah,
have to access some foreign websites.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I believe that small websites are not blocked, only the big
Okay,
ones.
okay,
Like I think your website isn't blocked.
okay, okay.
Like your website about books.
Okay. Okay. And that one, and like I said, the one or two that I had sent you before, they're just, I looked like, I don't know, recently, the last week or two, and I didn't see it on there. But that doesn't mean that there's not another site out there that may have it on. So I'll look on a couple of others, see if I can locate that for you. So don't buy anything yet, and I will see if I can find a free site for you. And if I can't, I'll let you know. I'll let you know sometime this week. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Hey, well, any other questions? Any other last minute questions?
Nope.
No? Okay. Anything else coming up though for this weekend? Are you gonna be doing anything or just studying?
Studying.
Just studying.
Maybe go swimming.
Oh, okay. Okay. Uh, did you go swimming last week?
No, because we had school on some Saturday.
Okay. But you don't have any school this weekend, right? Saturday or Sunday?
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
I
Well,
don't
yeah,
have school.
no school. Okay. Well, well, good. Then you should do some activity. You get some exercise in. I'm walking
Yes,
now.
I need it.
You do. It's important. I'm walking now 3 miles a day.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, especially on this second hip. It's only been a little over 2 months, so I'm doing really well with it. So it's good. Um, okay. Well, hey, with that, hey Z, have a fantastic weekend. Thank you for sharing, and I'll see if I can locate that book for you. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Um, all right. Well, I'm gonna. I know I see Daniel waiting, but he's gonna have to be kicked out and come into his own classroom. So, okay. Have a great weekend. I will see you next Friday.
Okay. Thank
Uh,
you for sharing
you're
also
welcome.
as well
Okay, no
for me.
problem. Okay.
Bye. Have a
Bye.
great week yourself.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.